out now. I think that was a good change for her. So I really like the direction they're going with the character. And, you know, they didn't really touch her offense yet. So I feel like that's the thing that still keeps her very strong in the game as a support.
I feel like the fact that they recently changed her weight inside of the game, inside of the very last patch, kind of affected some of her offense. Just because it's a lot harder to short hop with her now. She doesn't have as much mobility inside of the air, or specifically the ability to fall faster and kind of beat someone to the ground to go ahead and get that recovery as much. But I completely understand what you mean about being more of a defensive change in general, because it does address the way that you need to go ahead and think about the game and the mindset. And you don't need to perk it in order to fix it, but you do need to change up your play style a little bit. It means you can't be as aggressive. You have to really think before you leave the ground now.
I see. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. But still a very strong character. I think we're going to see quite a few more Velmas here throughout the day. I feel like the characters that I've seen so far in this tournament the most have been Velma and Bugs Bunny.
Yes, Bugs and Velma are very popular characters for a very obvious reason. Both of those characters are mages, which means that a majority of their damage and a majority of their support ability comes from them actually using their specials as opposed to just using their basic attacks. As you know, some other mages inside the game include Tom and Jerry, one of the most prolific mages inside of one of the very first alpha tests for this game, and also still very popular. I believe CLG Void actually utilizes that character. I believe obviously we have the Bugs God themselves, MVD, inside of that mix of someone that's kind of messed with a little bit of Tom and Jerry. But you look at a lot of these traditional platform players, and they're all like, "Where's the mage? Give me the give me the specials."
Well, let me tell you, one of the first times I got to play against Tom and Jerry was against Void and Mango with Harley. So we ran to them online. I played them probably 4 games, and I had the unfortunate pleasure of being absolutely destroyed by them. It was fantastic, though, just to see the ability that Tom had.
Brother, I come to you as family. Who set you up?
Just tell me a name. Just tell me a
name. Just tell me a name.
It was the matchmakers. I don't know who they are.
You do your best in situations like that, and in that case, you honestly relish in the opportunities that you had to actually bring them out. You know?
Yes. We had a couple like, we can do it. We believe in ourselves now.
There are a lot of them. I personally am very partial to a couple of other players inside the community. I've stated previously that my favorite character inside of the game is Steven Universe. Flash Tyree, I feel, is the best Steven Universe inside of the world right now. And they're not, unfortunately, playing right now, obviously.
Look at this, though.
But I did just want to obviously announce it. Now, we have Limbodawg teaming up with Perfect Legend here inside of this scenario. Perfect Legend has been playing this game actively on their stream. And I believe what we may be seeing coming out from their team will be if I know their team at all, will be a Superman and Velma combination based off what I've seen on that stream, of course. Now, the other team, you should not in any way, shape, or form literally slouch on. That's going to be Biz, as well as Hazy Caveman. Now, they are going to be using Tom and Jerry in addition to Fen. Like I stated before, a very dangerous team to go up against, and just something you really have to be very careful about. It's going to be interesting to see the ways that the perks match up here, because what you're really going to be looking at specifically on the red team side, or I'm sorry, the blue team side, is you're going to be looking to see if they get those cooldown perks. You know, like I said before, Velma is so incredibly powerful when she has those low cooldowns. It's something that really does assist her kit. If you're looking at a CoffeeZilla situation where they do actually stack for that 15%, we're looking pretty nice. We're looking pretty clean. But we may even see the lesser known, I call it red CoffeeZilla, but the reality is it's called something completely different.
Red CoffeeZilla.
I call it red coffee. I read it. Call it
red coffee right now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not called that. But what it actually does is increases the amount of damage that you do when you have a projectile or specific type of debuff on them, which does count things like Superman Breath, does count things like Fire proc, does count things like Ice proc.
That sounds like a great combination if we actually get the Superman Velma.
Yeah, it would be a very, 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 very good in general with any type of mage. But I think my favorite one that it would probably be applied to, obviously, has to be Steven Universe yet again. Like, I'm sorry. And I believe the perk I was mentioning before is called I'll Take That.
I'll take that.
As in, I'll take that cooldown. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take that. That's a W.
And one of Velma's specials is also to give them cooldown. So, you know, she's pretty good at cooldown reduction.
It stacks incredibly well with CoffeeZilla. It's a beautiful in touch. I relish the opportunity to see a Velma at high level in any case, and I'm just so thankful that I get to be here with you inside of this moment, Red.
This is going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what Perfect Legend brings to the table.
Nothing more than perfection, of course.
Nothing less than perfection is what I expect out of Perfect Legend.
Exactly, exactly. And he never disappoints whenever he showcases his skill. So, of course, we have the stages that we're trying to go ahead and counter pick as well as pick right now. And I just want to shout out a fundamental aspect of the game. I love the picker ban system inside of this game. When it comes down to it, inside of customs,
Tell me more.
They integrated it very, very well. It's very easy to see the stage rotation. It's very easy to select the stage rotation beforehand. It's not like
uncheck the ones you don't want.
Exactly. Inside of some platformer games don't typically have that, but inside of this situation, it makes it incredibly easy to be like, okay, I'm cool with this stage. I'm cool with this stage. We've decided what we want. Okay, take your last stage pick, and then we play on that stage. And that's something that I love that MultiVersus has just integrated into the UI to make it simple and easy for all players to move forward. Really, really a big fan of the way that Player First Games designed it.
Alrighty, well, let's get into the first game. I love the breath there. That was smart stuff. That's not what I like to see you use. The retreating breath. Look, and got the freeze already. 15 stacks in there.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Okay, just coming straight out of the gate with a strong Superman. Velma trying to take respite and go ahead and get an opportunity, but you know what? Tom and Jerry are just not letting her. By sitting Jerry there stationary, Jerry actually goes ahead and just passively attacks you, so you have to be very, very careful of where Jerry is set inside of that duo.
Yeah, nice up specials here from the Finn, though. Gotta be careful. All day.
Yep. Cautious with it. Armor does not connect there from Superman. Yeah, just throwing out them blows, drawing out them bows.
Yeah, we got a very melee-heavy Velma is what I feel like. And finally, there we go. You see some word bubbles, all right.
Yeah, has to go ahead and tag him with the knowledge in order to get those word bubbles to actually connect completely. Looks as though those actually were... Was that hand warmers, or are we looking at a disconnection? I'm not quite sure.
Play on.
As a reminder, always disconnect your controllers. But moving forward, incredibly excited to see this right here. Superman sitting pretty at 100. Of course, Tom and Jerry also at 100.
Yeah, but Tom and Jerry, much lighter character, a little bit more dangerous in this situation.
Beautiful projectile game. Went straight in and challenged that charge. Really smart. Now, Red Team are both inside the situation where they have to start being careful. Anything can knock them out. Superman taking a little bit more of a passive than I'm used to.
There you go.
Fantastic upcharge there.
Yeah, Perfect Legend is much more patient with the zoning with Superman, right, than going in. And wow, actually rung out there.
Yeah. Now Tom and Jerry's just being very patient, very careful right now.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry's got to run.
Yeah. Ooh, beautiful play right there. Yeah, just go ahead and knock them out. Okay.
And Tom and Jerry, a lot of dynamite sticks. Going fish and founder.
Okay.
Man. PL is finding it right now.
Okay.
A beautiful dodge by Finn to get back on stage.
Wow. Okay. You like to see it. Yes.
There we go.
Another secure there for Red Team.
All tied up Finn, though. Very high percent. Got to be careful.
Wow. Gosh, that Jerry is just doing so much work right now. Yeah.
Yeah, they are moving real slow right now. Finn is slowing down. That's what you want to.
Oh, wonderful there by Tom. You know, you can never say Tom and Jerry's not a support after this game. You can never say that. Yes. You can go ahead and secure that up.
Finn is such a high percent. One more by Get Spike.
Yeah, great follow-up there by that Superman. Fantastic, moving it up to only one more knockout. Ultimately here. Okay.
Wait, the spike was going to work. We're all tied up. Superman's a 1-on-1.
This is a very dangerous game for Blue Team. Has to approach, has to respect it. They are going to be probably focusing on that. Yeah, Superman has his eyes set, his Kryptonian eyes
on that Tom and Jerry. And Finn trying to keep out. Oh my God, Tom and Jerry doing a very good job of dodging these side specials.
Okay.
Finn's got to get in there. Tom and Jerry, you got to go fishing. Stay at a distance. Costume Man 150. Perfect. Let's a little bit of trouble. Up special should do it.
Let's go. Beautiful finisher there by Finn. And ultimately moving Biz and Hazy K-Man up 1 over Perfect Legends on Team Blue.
And now, Perfect Legends started off so strong in that entire set, right?
Absolutely. You know, I think the thing that really basically crisped it there for Team Red was ultimately the perk Retaliation Ready, which, as you obviously know, actually gives your team back 3% gray health, which acts as armor in a certain way after you knock back the opponents with a projectile. It's an amazing perk. Once again, that perk is retaliation ready, and it really assisted Team Red there. There were several times where you saw Finn with that gray health just being able to move and kind of not necessarily have to worry about racking up percentages. It acted and functioned very specifically like armor, which is exactly what Finn needed in order to secure some of those ring outs.
And Finn so many times was so aggressive despite having extremely high percentages there. So I really liked what I saw of it, even though it was very risky.
Yeah.
It was just very exciting to watch.
Now, is there anything that you feel as though you saw inside of the blue team of Superman and Velma there that you really personally enjoyed watching?
I mean, I really liked Perfect Legend at first with his approach, right? Because he would do the freeze breath in a retreating fashion. So he's like, I know you want to approach me to hit me. You've got these melee arms here, Finn. So he would freeze breath and go backwards with it. So Finn had to get frozen up. We saw the freeze come out immediately, right? It was 15 stacks frozen, and that was like the start of the game for them. So I really like that approach from Perfect Legend. As you mentioned, a little bit more passive of his Superman, right? Not really going into like the jab punches like you see from a lot of other Superman. Side specials came out a little bit later in the game, but starting off with a lot more of the zoning from Superman.
For sure. I really did like the times where Superman did actually edge guard and secure quite a few of those knockouts. I was very, very content and happy to see that. I believe actually Superman was responsible for all 3 of the knockouts on the blue team side. Velma, of course, no sloth, did rack up a considerable amount of damage, but we did see that Superman was utilizing their armor to their full Kryptonian ability.
No, without a doubt. And even the ground laser, right? It's something that you kind of gets overlooked with Superman.
Yeah, we did see that quite a few times inside the very last match. I agreed with certain times it was being used. I kind of disagreed about the use at other times. So I really think it comes down to just understanding specifically when you don't need to be stuck inside of something like as permanent as laser eyes, because that's a whole 3 seconds you're literally not moving. Exactly.
I mean, it was well played by them. I'm really curious what the change is going to be here, though, for Perfect Legend. They're thinking it over very hard.
I'm inclined to say I don't really know if the change is needed. I think the match was very, very close. It just came down to certain decisions at opportune times. There were a couple of times where blue team did make very, very risky movement choices, and red team immediately called them out for that. We saw that several times. The response immediately from Finn as well as from Tom and Jerry was immediate. We saw a lot of very specific, dedicated placement from Tom and Jerry as to where Jerry was going to be, and making sure that they had the maximum number of bottles possible to kind of stop Velma and Superman from getting started. One of the things I felt as though Superman did very, very well was actually utilize armor at opportune times to not only charge up their moves, but also to kind of like counterattack in certain situations, especially inside of what I would consider more of like a clumpy situation. I was very, very proud of the way that both teams think, and I actually don't think any change needs to be made on either the perk side. I think it's more just like a decision making and understanding and being a little bit more clean with your decisions of where you're actually going, being much more active in your thinking process regarding that in order to change anything.
I'm trying to think back to that first game, right? Because at first it really looked like blue team had the advantage. Perfect Legend did a really good job of finding opportunities when the red team was in bad position. Like they're off stage, Perfect Legend was right there to close it out, right? So I feel like if they can force some of those situations to happen more often, they'd be in a better position. I really did like Velma putting out the freeze floor so that Superman could also freeze right above it. I felt like that was their initial like opening strategy. That's their opening gambit. So like if we can get this going, we'll get a freeze, we can get an early lead, and that worked out for them early. But as the game progressed, I felt like they couldn't close out on Tom. They chased Tom a lot, but they just really couldn't close out on him. Really, Tom's very slippery, very good defensively with the dodges. Maybe if they get a read on that first game on how Tom was dodging, then maybe they'll be able to close it out better against him. But they wasted a lot of time trying to close out Tom and gave Finn a lot of opportunity to rack up damage on him.
And I think Finn really did take those opportunities because of the fact that they literally had retaliation ready to go ahead and approach in multiple different situations. That little bit of gray health, that little bit of semi-armor makes it so much easier for you to go ahead and not necessarily worry about who hits you and when, which I wasn't able to necessarily see if they did actually stack that, but I do want to note that, of course, Retaliation Ready does actually give you 4 amounts of gray health for 3 seconds after you knock it back when you stack. That is a difference of literally 1 health. Of course, it absolutely matters in places like this because that is 4 hits that you don't have to necessarily worry about. That's 4 damage you don't have to worry about taking when you get hit. That's a beautiful I would say incentive for the enemy team to not necessarily focus you and start taking it up more on your support character, someone that may be usually a little bit higher up inside of damage, may necessarily be in a position where they're more likely to be ringed out, may necessarily not be able to fight the same way that a point character would with the tools. I believe they're just going to go ahead and do a couple of hand warmers before we get back into it, especially since the very last time we did see the start, we did see that strange disconnection.
True.
I'm certain that the very professional production team that we have here in coordination with MultiVersus is doing a fantastic job at making sure that there are absolutely no technical disorders or dysfunctions at all inside of this game.
Yeah, it's amazing how far along the game is, right? Because anytime you hear like, oh, the game's in beta, the game's in alpha, whatever, you expect it to not be ready, but it's ready. I feel like, well, why are we still in beta? Can we have the game now? Can we just take the beta name off it yet? Like, when do we get there?
Yeah, no, for sure. And you know, of course, if you go over to MultiVersus website, you can actually get a link to grab it. It's not only on Steam, it's also on Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5 as well. So there's never been a better time than right now to go ahead and check out the game, which is, of course, it's free to play.
Free to play, cross play, and cross progression also included in the game. It's a phenomenal package. And of course, this is the best time to get into it, right? Across any kind of fighting game, the beginning is the best when the roster is the smallest, right? Especially in a game like this where we know, like, over time, we're going to get new characters added. We already know Rick and Morty is coming. LeBron and Iron Giant are also in the game, not available here at EVO right now, of course, in this tournament. But those characters, you know, there's so much fun to experiment with as they're introduced to the game, I feel even, you know, just to find out the synergies they have with other characters.
And even for less competitive players, there are certain features inside of the game, such as literally playing against bots, playing with your team, playing with a teammate against bots, even just doing 1v1s if you'd really like to. But I think one of the most compelling things inside of this game to note, for specifically someone who may not necessarily be into the competitive gaming aspect of it, is the Founders Pack and the Battle Pass, which allows you to literally unlock special skins, special levels, as well as special little emotes that you may want inside the game.
All right, but here we go. Into game number 2. See the free stacks adding up early here.
Beautiful. Getting that knowledge buff off and on. Has already targeted Superman.
Yeah, give him some heal.
Oh, beautiful play there by Tom.
Yeah, Tom is doing a really good job of keeping Velma off stage right now. Racked up some good damage there with Jerry.
Okay,
coming in,
that's exactly what I'm talking about. That armor, you got to respect it. Doing a fantastic job at making sure that you layer that on up and do it at the exact time it works.
Wow, they were locked down by Finn there, and Tom got the fishing line too. Beautiful stuff.
Oh, I love this Velma. I love the way. See, to me, ooh, as soon as I say, as soon as I say, as soon as I say.
She's in trouble right now, but oh my gosh, fights her way out of there.
Now, Fenn does have going out of business log, meaning that they can't go into their, just immediately bought that armor proc. Very smart purchase indeed, Fenn.
Finn is so brave. Superman off stage. Side special to get back. Finn had to stay below there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Velma wasn't in a place to assist. Was being targeted by Tom and Jerry there. Superman coming to go ahead and finish off that Fenn. Fantastic synergy there from blue team. Okay.
Man, and this Finn is brave. Always going in. Straight eating the megaphone beam from Velma. I don't care. I'm still coming, trying to get you. Nice close out there by Tom.
Beautiful. Wondrous, yes.
Oh, and I loved it too. Saw the charge, jumped up, down air. Smart stuff from Finn.
Okay, okay. Now, I like the separation here by blue team and kind of getting the ideal positioning for blue team.
Full charge, see you later.
Yup.
Man, Perfect Legend is stepping up right now.
Like I said, this is exactly what gets them those ring outs. Understanding their positioning, understanding their placement, and allowing Superman to do what he does best, fly.
Little special a second ago, though. Does tie it up a little bit.
Yeah, just stacking up on that. Now that armor.
Frozen. Oof. Wow, and Tom came to save him there. Smart.
Now Fenn can go ahead and make another purchase. They have to be careful. They have to be cognizant of that.
Yep. And very high damage. Nice up dodge that time to try to avoid it, but not this time.
Very great. Very, very good there by blue team. Blue team absolutely commanding all the momentum inside this game thus far.
Superman's at 98. And, you know, that's obviously not too bad for Superman, but the way PL is flying closer and closer to the ceiling, got to be careful with that.
Oh, I really liked that those defensive measures by Velma, just going straight in. Tom and Jerry trying to reach Superman, can't quite get him. Fenn taking that opportunity to go ahead and buy.
Is it enough? No. Still 170 Superman, basically.
You got to secure it.
That will be it. We're all tied up.
There, yep.
This is a set point for red team.
The exact same
Tom's
situation
in trouble. Nice dodge.
Very cautious, very sleek with it, very careful right now.
Wow, Velma actually knocked him out of the way of Tom's side special.
Yeah, great of Tom to go ahead and deny that armor opportunity.
Tom's high here on health.
Okay. Moving
Superman
forward.
for the chase.
Yeah.
Jerry found him, though.
Yeah,
Look out.
dangerous situation.
The dodge.
Oh, no.
The cops are ready.
She's a tattletale.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay. Very careful.
Velma's
Trying to go
high
for
too.
Tom. Trying to go for Tom.
Finn's trying to close out Velma.
Just being very careful, very cautious right now. Luckily, Finn was able to get that Superman, get him
Oh,
off
beautiful
of
dive.
Tom.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Get it survive. Get it survive.
Yep,
Velma's...
very careful. Dodges back onto the stage.
Wow, the armor didn't hold on. Superman's high as
Wasn't
well.
able to finish that up at
Top
all.
down. Not enough.
Yikes.
She's up there though.
Everyone on the screen, with the exception of Finn, has over 100
Oh my god.
damage on them
This
right
Tom
now.
is slippery.
Yep.
They're trying to get Finn.
Finn
Finn,
just
where are
trying
you
to
going?
secure. What happened? Finn ran out of jump. Finn ran out of opportunities. Had no more up specials. Just fell to their unfortunate and untimely knockout.
Holy moly. That was tense. And again, Tom and Jerry so slippery. High percentage forever, but they couldn't close them out. The Finn ended up going too deep, trying to get the kill. Doesn't get it. The KO wasn't there, and instead, Finn out of options. Out of there, ring out.
And
KO.
that's exactly what I meant when you asked me previously about how I felt Blue Team could change it. There wasn't any changes they needed to make on the technical sky. It was exclusively mindset. It was exclusively communication. It was exclusively decisions. And you can see that very quickly. I expect nothing less from Perfect Legend. Quick adaptation.
Yeah, and Finn there, we saw the one ring out with the up special. Didn't see it more often. And honestly, there were many opportunities where Blue Team was up high in the ceiling. And I feel like that Finn up special is just such a good ring out tool in that situation that I'm surprised we didn't see it more.
I mean, Finn up special is good everywhere. Let's be real. Let's be real about it.
It's good
Let's
on the
be
ground.
honest.
It's good everywhere. But here we go, final game here. And look at Finn. He's like, I know you're going to freeze me, but I'm coming in anyway. I got disjointed hitboxes.
Okay.
Fight him off.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily agree with the incredibly aggressive tactic that Velma is taking here, just because it is causing them to rack up a little bit more damage than they typically would. Yeah, unfortunate. Really good targeting, obviously, by the red team. Unfortunate plays there by Velma.
Yeah, Biz's Tom is so slippery. They're trying to close down with so many times, but the dodge timing has been perfect.
Beautiful play there.
And honestly, Hazy Caveman has done a great job of avoiding Superman's charge attacks, especially from the air approach. Down attack, side air, yeah.
Now, one of the things I have noticed is that both Superman and Velma have been very, very good, as you know, about picking up some of those mystery cards. It doesn't appear as though this time Velma actually has the perk that allows her to specifically get that armor when someone does pick up one of those playing cards, one of those clues, if you would, that allows her to actually go ahead and call the authorities. But it's one of those situations where I'm like, I understand why they're opting to go for more damage here.
Superman's at 150. Tom over 110 right now. Finn up special from so low. You're right. It works great everywhere.
Every single time.
See ya, Tom.
You gotta secure that. You gotta secure that, hun.
Oh my gosh. The authorities. Get him, coppers.
Yeah, just immediate damage going out there. Quite a bit of percentage now on Finn, making them a lot more of a liability.
Look at Tom, the 150. Oh yeah, too high.
Yeah, and Finn is starting this now unfortunate, basically next knockout stock with 53 HP. That's not a position you want to be in as a
make it 80.
Assassin.
Not enough to get it there.
It's dangerous. It's difficult. Okay. Off we go. As always, she has such good normals. She has such good normals.
Oh, and yeah, they're just rushing into these charge attacks from Perfect Legend. Finn over 100. And that might be enough. Yes, set point for Blue Team.
They're working on Tom. Can they secure it? Yep, right then and there is going to put Perfect Legend as well as Limbodawg up 2-1 over Biz and Moxie. Now, I'm sorry, Hazy. What a fantastic game.
Fantastic
game.
That second game down to the wire could have went either way, but they held on. And then honestly, it looked like the red team was a little frazzled, when it came to the final game.
It truly is a testament to the adaptation that you can see from different types of people inside of the fighting game community. Perfect Legend won multiple previous Evos, understands what it means to adapt at a really high level, was able to get an understanding of what went wrong that match, discuss it with their teammate, and make sure it didn't happen again. We saw a lot more use of armor in general from the Superman. We saw a couple of other opportunities from the Velma player as well, where they were able to just support in a more aggressive passable. But say less. Let's go ahead and see exactly what went down inside that last game.
Oh man, it was a great set overall, and this first set was crazy. Perfect Legend started off with so many spikes. I was closing out so many KOs. You can see the reactions, like, oh my gosh, he got me again.
You can see him having to go back into it. Yep, just very, very nice. He's like, come on.
That's a celebration for game one for sure, right?
Yeah, that was nice.
And this is Finn trying to close it out and just slipping, running out of options to return to the stage. And then this final game, man, the charge attack of Perfect Legends, Red Team just seemed like they were running into him. They saw it charging, and they were just ignoring it. Like, no, we got to get him to try to hit him around instead of it.
Well, one of my favorite things inside of that game was how similar in skill both teams were.
Yes.
I was a big fan of watching the decision-making changing every single second, watching the positioning be a lot better inside of round 2 and even more perfected inside of round 3. I'm incredibly excited to see when we get the creme de la crop out of all of these waves inside of this tournament this evening.
Oh, without a doubt, right? We are just in pools right now. Once we're done with that and the tournament starts rolling on, the match is just going to get crazier and crazier. I think like what we saw in Game 2 here, we're going to see more of throughout the rest of the tournament.
For sure. I'm partial, once again, to Steven Universe, but if I see a Garnet at some point in time, regardless of where it is, expect me to get hyped. Expect me to lose my mind. Expect me to start singing and cheering for the Crystal Gems.
That would be great. I mean, Garnet, I think in the closed beta, she had better combos off of her jab with dodge canceling it.
Better. She's still good.
I haven't seen it because I don't think you can dodge cancel the forward jab anymore.
Let me put you on some game. Leviathan has personally been making sure that Garnet remains top tier. I'm going to be honest with you.
I need to see it.
That's fair. That's fair. One of my favorite things about Garnet is her ability to not only use the utility aspect of her kit, but also to secure kills, because one of her main mechanics actually allows her to put down a star, go somewhere off of screen, and then immediately traverse back over. Yeah, it's a very, very useful mechanic, especially when you're going out there edge guarding, securing some knockouts very specifically. And I think it's something she excels with. Her normals may not necessarily be the fastest thing inside the world, but if they're properly timed, they still allow you just enough